Bringing back history to our Nigerian schools will fast-track the division of the country. I repeat, bringing back history to our Nigerian schools would fast-track the division of the country. Now, I see why Obasanjo refused us to continue having history lessons in school. They abolished history because they know that account upon account, if we are being told the stories of the Civil War, especially that Civil War, in quote, now be the main reason why Nigeria is so divided, why there's so much hatred for each other. That Civil War, what led to the Civil War? Many people wrote many books, many accounts. This one wrote, Ademolagun wrote, Ojukwu wrote, many people, the account of the Civil War. Even Chinua Achebe, they gave the account because that part of history is the reasons why Nigeria is bitter. The North, the South, and the East. The North, the Southwest, and the East. Sorry, the North Middle Belt, because Arewa does not cover the Middle Belt anymore. If you even look at history, Middle Belt have their own history against the Arewa people. Even you look at the old Eastern region, the South, they are claiming so many things that Ojukwu did to the Southerners, the Niger Deltans. When you look at history, there's something Awolowo and S. Akintola were dragging in the Southwest. So many things happened in history. And it was a bitter experience. It was a very, very bitter experience. That's why these people look at it. Many, many times they have tried bringing back history to our schools, but they have jettisoned the idea because they know that if they tell our younger people, these are our younger people, these are our jet age, if they tell you the history, if you are being groomed with what happened during the Civil War, before the Civil War, during the Civil War, and after the Civil War, if they tell you what happened, if they are willing to take the history classes, tell the truth, man, it will not take long. Nigeria will be much more divided. The hatred will be like, some people will even see themselves on the street and want to have physical attack. That is why they have tried. Buhari tried. The education minister said, we will bring back history. At the end of the day, no history. Tinubu's regime, when they said they will bring back history, I was laughing. I asked the lecturer, I asked him, why is that? Why is it difficult for us to really bring back this history? Because they are saying bring back history, now from out. Who are those that are going to take the history classes? Do you have history teachers? Do you have a curriculum that explains to us the real history of Nigeria, especially that of the Civil War? Do you have qualified teachers that are willing? Are we so united enough? Because now you'll be surprised that the history they will be teaching in the Southeast might be different from the history they will be teaching in the Southwest, might be different from the one they'll be teaching in the North. My brother, with the hatred in Nigeria today, if they try bringing back history to our schools in whatever way, whatever guise, because I know we don't have the teachers, if they try bringing back history to our schools, see, the division of Nigeria that we are thinking will be like 5, 6 years or 10 years, or after Tinubu's regime, that division will come very, very fast. Very, very fast. The Southwest will tell you that Igbos, because of their thirst for power, their hatred for other tribes, Nzwogu, and some other of his guys killed Ahmed Bello. That's what they will tell you. 3 people we have in that coup. 3 people we have in that coup. 3 people. We have Nzwogu, Major Nzwogu. We have Major Emmanuel Ife Ajuna. And we have Major Adewale Ademoyega. So look, this is how they will tell you history in the Southwest. They'll tell you that Nzwogu, Nzwogu said that because of corruption. But they will tell you that no, it is not because of corruption. It's because Ahmadu Bello did an interview and said that they were going to northernize the Northern Nigeria Civil Service. They will make sure that they take away the Igbo-ness in Northern Nigeria because they believe that the Igbos are domineering. He did an interview, popular interview. He believed that the Igbos are domineering. So he's going to cut, if he's going to employ Igbos, it will be by contract. So they looked at it. That is what they'll tell you in the Southwest though. And that was the reason. That interview caused a stir among Igbo officers in the Nigerian army. And one of them in particular, Major Chukwuma, Nzogu, an Igbo man, took his displeasure further while he served as the chief instructor at the Nigerian Military Training College in Kaduna. So, after that interview, it now caused a stir among Igbo officers. Why will you say that you would northernize the Northern Nigeria Civil Service? And if he had to employ Igbos, it would be on contract, or put in Igbos from Northern Nigeria. That is the sentiment of the Southwest. Now, remember, the Southeasterners are saying that it was because of corruption. Because of corruption, that is why they wanted to remove all those guys and put in Awolowo. They also said from the Southeast that Ojukwu released Awolowo. Ojukwu released Awolowo before the war. Then, how did the hatred now come? How did we get to arrive at this hatred point? Now, when the coup started, they see Nzogu as somebody who is not a tribalistic Igbo because he was born in the north and he spoke Igbo, spoke Hausa, spoke very well, fluent in English, Igbo, and Hausa. They say that Nzogu is not the coup plotter. It was Ifa Juna. Ifa Juna was the tribalistic Igbo. Wasn't Nzogu. Nzogu, in his own way. Now, in the Southwest, they will tell you that Ademoyega did not kill, but Nzogu killed. The Igbo officers were the ones that were in charge of the coup plotting. So, driving the attention to the Igbo. Now, after the coup, I understand the fact that the northern leaders were killed, in the Southwest leaders were killed, but some people in the Southeast were spared. I also will buy that information that Igbo leaders then were high-handed. Now, the issue with Igbo officers like Major Nzogu and their hatred for Sir Ahmadu Bello himself was triggered by Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, who in 1953 threatened the North with war if they tried to break away from Nigeria, which the North was contemplating then. So what they're telling the Southwest is that the Northern people wanted to break away. It was the Igbos that made sure that Nigeria stayed together. This is Azikiwe and also Aguiyi. That is the impression they give you. Of course, this happened. Now that Igbos want to break away, they will tell you that it is your people that made sure that Nigeria cannot break. They made sure that they removed that clause of secession from the constitution. It was an Igbo man, Igbo officers, Igbo leaders that made sure that these things happened. Now, they'll make it look like the Igbos were the real cause of the war. Go to the Southeast, they'll tell you, I've told you before, they'll tell you that there was corruption, and this corruption led to young officers coming out to say, all these top guys, they are not, the way they are moving, we don't like it. Let's eliminate all of them and install Awolowo. Install Awolowo. The Southeasterners will tell you that when you look at the list of people that carried out that coup, it was all Nigeria. We had the Igbo, we had the Yoruba, we had the Hausa, we had the Fulani. In that coup plotting. Now, in the North, after the coup happened in a way, however, there was massacre in the North. And the Igbos will tell you that Igbos were being killed in the North. And that led to Ojukwu saying, let us divide. Dividing now leads to an Abure Accord. Leading to Abure Accord that will have settled this division once and for all. Somebody now reneged on the Abure Accord. And there was a civil war. Who fired the first bullet? Nigeria fired the first bullet. That is the Eastern Corridor. They will tell you that the North, we are planning to make sure that they make Igbos irrelevant in the government of them. Looking at that interview of Sir Ahmadu Bello, he was looking at indigenization policy. Why Awolowo was doing Awarawa. They were playing ethnic politics. The Igbo leaders then didn't want to play ethnic politics. But Ahmadu Bello and every other person from Awolowo, they were looking at playing ethnic politics. The Igbo leaders wanted to bring Nigeria together and make sure that it is an African thing, blah, blah, blah. They want a united Igbo leaders. And mind you, Igbo leaders, they were not a representation of the total population of the Igbo people. Just like Ohaneze will be taking decision, endorsing Tinubu. Now, is he binding on me? Is he binding on me? Ohaneze, we have two Ohaneze presidents. Shows the division. So, whatever Nnamdi Azikiwe was doing was in his own volition. He never consulted any elder, anybody that represents the Igbos in Igbo land. Ojukwu told him, he said, no, we are better off Igbos in Nigeria. He spoke against giving aid to the Biafran people. So, whatever Onuatuegu or whoever, or Nzogu did or Nnamdi Azikiwe did, they were doing on their own volition. So if you present it in a way that suits you, it will not take anybody anywhere. I like what some people are doing. On Twitter, some people are bringing back history, trying to paint the Igbo in a bad light. See, if you want us to start generalizing, let's start generalizing. Every tribe has its challenges. Every tribe has, I understand the resentment about the Igbo. They are very, very useless and nonsense Igbo people. They are very useless and nonsense Yoruba people. Same with the Hausa Fulani, the Hausa, the Middle Belt, and the Fulani. They are everywhere. How do we contain this? Now that we have the opportunity, why don't us split and go regional, restructure? If you are arguing that an Igbo will leave his place, coming to dominate your place, when there's if you restructure Nigeria, it will be you will determine the air an Igbo will breathe in the southwest. If you restructure Nigeria, if there's Yoruba nation, if there's regionalism, you determine, you control your spaces. But why is it that the Nigerian people don't want to allow the Igbos go? It is a political thing, my brother. Whatever history that is being told you is political. The political class are fighting and fighting, and it is the people that are bearing the brunt. Now, the kind of politics Tinubu is playing, many Yorubas are not supporting Tinubu. At the end of the day, if Fulani comes and wants to pay back because he believes Tinubu is doing anyhow, and he now tell all the Yorubas that they are this and that, which is unfair. So now I understand why they are avoiding to bring back history into our schools. I said the last time that history is bound to repeat itself. I see it. If you look on Twitter now, people are pushing different ideologies. Now, the Hausa Fulani, they are saying that the Southeasterners are supporting Tinubu's government on restructuring. So they tried planting Sharia and what have you. That one did not work. They tried other means, Islamization, Ogbara between Yoruba Muslims and Yoruba Christians. It did not work. Now they are trying to split in some parts of the history which they believe will bring much more division in the south. In the south. They want to divert the attention from them, the Fulani, that have conquered lands and killed people, even in this dispensation. They want to divert the attention to the Igbo people. That is what they know how to do. These guys are playing politics. But I will tell you that history would not be brought back to our schools. Because the politicians, they know themselves. If you bring history, it will be easier. The hatred will increase. Me, I was not there. My family wasn't there. The people that were taking the decision did not consult us. The people that ran that coup did not consult us. They were Igbo officers and Yoruba and House officers did not consult us. They did what they did, and their actions led to the destruction of lives and properties of innocent Igbos in North. That was the retaliation. Retaliation. Why not go after the guys that did such evil? But you are going after the people because I have said it, the hatred for an Igbo man. You see the way Ahmadu Bello was talking about the Igbos. He felt like, the Igbos have shown so much dominance. The Igbos dominated then. They were everywhere, showing capacity. And there's this pride they were showing then. That's one thing I don't like about the Igbo people. Pride. I talked about some people went to Newi to start doing my mother's burial. Where you have schools that are dilapidated, the insecurity, two very important things you need to focus on. You are come to show the world that you have money. Then people will be happy. So this pride, we know. An average Igbo man is a gra person and has pride. Since we cannot stay together, why not support that Nigeria is restructured? The reasons why we are supporting President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we support Nigeria should be restructured so that these people will go on their own and deal with their whatever. So whatever Nzongu, Ademulegun, and Ifeajuna did was of their own volition. Other officers were with them. If they had that sentiment, that is their own personal cup of tea. I am not a tribalistic person. You will not take what Nzongu did and start putting it on my head. I'm telling you, you will not take what Nzongu did and put it on my head. Look at what Tinubu is doing today. Look at what Buhari is doing today. If it were an Igbo man that is doing what they are doing today, do you think that Nigeria will rest? I just know that there is this, the seed that has been planted. The Northerners, the Fulani knew that Igbo will make it difficult for them to run over Nigeria. That's why they are planting all sorts of seeds. They did it then, and it's repeating itself now. So they are planting another style of hatred, bringing back the darkest part of history that people are running away from because it will make us hate ourselves. Obasanjo saw it and he abolished it. The Fulani that was bringing in the indigenization policy then to remove Igbo from Northern Civil Service, where they were running a Northern thing. While Awolowo was running his own, Awarawa, they are using that as a tool to make the Igbos to be attacked and look bad. They are doing it now. We will never stop. The Fulani is the aggressor in Nigeria today. Igbos, I've said it, I will say it over and over again. If you are in a space, Igbo man is a capitalist. He wants to go to a place and succeed and do whatever he can do. He wants to take challenges that others don't want to take. I understand that. Why some people will sleep. An Igbo man can come to a place and take a lot of sacrifices to get to the top. He can stay in a space, in a street, and do his business, and be building and building and building and building. Before you know, he gets a shop. He's committed. He does that. And look at how they bring in somebody from the village to serve them. They settle him and they spread. That might be economic domination for some people. They don't like it. Maybe they don't like the progress. I look at it as jealousy. So how are Igbo people taking over? You see, if an Igbo man comes to a place, he wants to join anything, yeah, there's a law. He's law abiding. He doesn't fight you. If you want to buy a land, he doesn't fight you. If you want to join the civil service, he doesn't fight you. He goes through a process. So how is he now dominating? The Northerners then knew that they had people that were illiterates. A lot of illiterates in Northern civil service. And the Igbos were filling it up. They were angry that the Igbos were going to school, were succeeding, were prevailing and everything. They were angry. That is just jealousy. So this man was planting that jealousy as much as what is happening in the Southwest. They accused Azikiwe of trying to take over the Southwest. Then they used the Awarawa and chased him away. So Igbo now is now the aggressor. I've told Igbos, take your whatever, go back to your region. They will limit you. 2025 is another way that they will limit you in a place that does not belong to you. Nigeria is divided and you know it. They will use legislation to make you, by force, tie your coconut head that they want to listen. You will go back by force. That is the reality we find ourselves today. And we have been preaching. We are supporting President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, restructure, so that everybody will find their level and go to their various regions and prosper. But there's one thing that is constant. The problem you see in Nigeria today, you find it in Biafra, you find it in Oduduwa, you find it in Arewa, you find it in Middle Belt. Just the reason why I'm supporting all this is because of that hand of the Fulani people. I don't want it there. I want it to be cut off. So let's not bring back history. If you want to read your history, don't make it official. There are records, the books are there. You can go and read about it. Because if you bring back history, it's going to cause much more hatred and division. Because everybody believes that the Igbo is the aggressor. The Igbo believe that the Fulani and Yorubas are the aggressor. The Yorubas and Northerners believe that the Igbos, everyone will just be pointing the history, and people will tell it with sentiment. The more reasons why everyone needs to calm down and make sure Tinubu restructures Nigeria. Or, if you want to bring back history, just know that you are going to cause another clash, ethnic clash, and you're going to increase the tempo of hate over each other. I bow out.